Dad, this is my first time trying this, and I find that the pencil you gave me feels a bit too large for my hands. I am Sarah, and I have recently turned 18. My life has consistently been one of tranquility and simplicity. Since my mother departed many years ago, my father and I have shared a bond as companions. One day, she quietly slipped away, leaving behind a sense of emptiness, as though she had simply faded from existence. Since that time, my father and I have nurtured our bond with love and affection, finding comfort in each other. We have often found ourselves as two boats, navigating the challenging waters of life, moving alongside each other through the unpredictable currents. Several months back, I embarked on my university journey, stepping into an unfamiliar realm. Having been accustomed to the comfort of a small and secluded environment, a significant change occurred. Throughout the lectures, we encountered new individuals, and the bustling corridors evoked a blend of anticipation and tension. Even though my father expressed contentment with my efforts, I sensed a profound loneliness in him each time he came home. Her radiant smile brought light to my days. As my university life became a journey filled with endless shopping experiences, I began attending parties driven by a sense of curiosity. My experiences felt distinctly altered. Music envelops me, the faces around me are unfamiliar, and there's a sense of liberation that gently lingers in the atmosphere. Following a single night, I encountered a facet of existence that was previously uncharted for me. Upon returning home after my initial celebrations, I found myself enveloped in the early morning stillness that blanketed the city. In the kitchen, my father held a cup of tea, patiently awaiting my return. He maintained a composed demeanor even as he sensed the underlying anxiety in his effort to seem untroubled by the celebration that was requested. It provided a sense of enjoyment. I decided to keep things more general. He agreed, and an uneasy silence enveloped our conversations each night, a reality I found myself reluctant to acknowledge. As I stepped outside, a familiar sense of restlessness washed over me, accompanied by a quiet fear that the world around me held the power to change who I am. The evening unfolded much like those before it, accompanied by the familiar rhythm of music. As I moved gracefully to the rhythm, I found a sense of joy in the atmosphere, prompting me to embrace a moment of relaxation. The warmth of the drink brought me a sense of comfort and eased my worries, as if the smiles I encountered upon returning home late were a gentle reassurance. The door stood unlocked, a familiar indication that my father was anticipating my arrival. He sat in the living room with his laptop, the soft glow of the lamp casting a gentle light on his face. Even at this late hour, there was a sense of tranquility and peace surrounding him. His dedication to maintaining a healthy physical state was evident in. He carried himself with quiet strength and calm energy, and the tattoos that peeked out from beneath his fitted sleeves. His thick, dark hair appeared meticulously styled, accentuating his allure with gentle hints of silver curls. I found myself walking beside him. A gentle touch on his shoulders from behind prompted him to hold back his laughter as he shared his thoughts. The father made a gentle leap, followed by a heartfelt laugh, leaning forward in a way that reminded him of times when he truly enjoyed himself. "How is Gabriella doing at the moment?" he asked, taking in the scent of my fragrance alongside his own. "Is there a drink that contains alcohol? I find myself appreciating life in its entirety at this moment." A small laugh emerged as I navigated through a gentle sense of vertigo. With a gentle demeanor, he rose from his chair and placed his hands reassuringly on my shoulders. His touch brought a sense of warmth and reassurance. His hands were committed to ensuring my safety, while his eyes conveyed a deep sense of love and tenderness, tinged with a hint of restlessness. Yet there seemed to be an additional presence as well. The distinct scent he emitted and the way his smile did not soothe my inner turmoil led to a quieting of my laughter. As he lowered his head to cross his eyes, he seemed to fade away from my view. His expression conveyed a complex mix of affection, comfort, and a hint of disapproval. However, it also carries a sense that is not entirely restless. I took a step back, reflecting on how my demeanor might influence the situation. Sometimes it feels more comfortable to let go of formality. Allow yourself a moment to pause and find stillness. I gently moved my hands in a relaxed manner before making my way to my room. Once I closed the door, I settled onto the bed and it felt as though time stretched out before me, endlessly. A persistent and mysterious feeling lingered within me. With a sense of calm and resolve, his voice reached deep into my mind. Lily, if you feel comfortable, could you please head to the bathroom for a shower? It might be beneficial to pause for a moment and allow yourself the opportunity to restore your energies. He gently tilted his head as he spoke. I found myself agreeing, my attention drawn away from his slender arms that rested crossed over his chest. I often found myself drawn to interests that extended beyond what was typically anticipated of her. However, today, he bears a different burden. I found myself in the bathroom, leaving the door slightly ajar, a habit I often embrace. Our relationship has always been rooted in a deep sense of implicit trust. As I turned the tap, I felt the warm water gently surround me, creating a soothing embrace. As the water cascaded over me, I sensed the warmth intertwining with the swirl of thoughts that occupied my mind. His thoughts kept drifting back to those moments, to the hands that had held me with such assurance not long ago, and to the wide smile that felt as if it touched the very core of my existence. Every small drop of water appeared to hold its own presence, its unique essence, enveloping me in a gentle embrace. I journeyed through the cascading water, feeling the weight of the pressure on my neck and shoulders. I sensed the warmth enveloping me, reaching every part of my being. Kindly move forward. The photograph lingered in my mind, gently filling the spaces of my thoughts. I found myself drawn to the sound of the water and its presence, even as his joyful expression and words lingered in my thoughts. In that moment, I noticed a subtle shift in the corner of my field of vision, visible through the slender opening of the door. I noticed my father observing me. The gentle features of his face seemed to soften further with the emergence of a faint smile, suggesting a hint of unease brought on by the other person's presence. In that moment, I felt as if my heart had paused and I inhaled deeply, allowing my emotions to surface without reservation. It glided gently across my skin, yet in that moment I felt a distinct sensation, as though his expression made me pause, as if something unspoken lingered. As our eyes met, I reflected on all that we had experienced together as a family, a connection that seemed to transcend words through a simple glance. Her kind and welcoming smile has always brought me a sense of comfort, especially when a child approached me and joyfully exclaimed, "Lily, you are the best person in the world. Greater than, greater than." He awaited my response with a quiet assurance, fully aware that it would invariably be positive. Throughout those years, we consistently carved out moments to cherish together. We would stroll side by side in the park, creating a sense of safety in our shared space, shielding ourselves from the world beyond our small haven. Those walks held a special place in my heart. There was a time when we would pause at the ice cream shop, where her smile would light up the moment as she said less than, chocolate, greater than, her dimples softly accentuating her joy. In those moments, I found myself drawn to chocolate, forming a quiet ritual as my ice cream slowly melted, slipping through my fingers in a gentle reminder of my own clumsiness. As she offered a gentle smile, she took a napkin to carefully wipe away the stickiness from my fingers. She always refrained from making any negative remarks about my mother, even after her departure in some manner. She conveyed that she had opted for a different journey in her life, one that allowed her greater freedom. Even though I held deep feelings for him, I couldn't help but recognize that his expressions lacked sincerity. I noticed the subtle changes in his facial expression whenever his name was mentioned. The challenges he faced while caring for me, the mother figure gradually diminished, resembling a silhouette softly retreating into the distance. A person who quietly slipped away, leaving us behind. I found it challenging to grasp how I could distance myself from someone so doubtful about the nature of time. My feelings of frustration towards her grew, even though he never fostered those emotions. In contrast, he extended kindness towards me, even as he hid the wounds of his own heart, which became evident in those moments. In that moment, I came to realize the profound impact he had on my journey. The kindness, the warmth of his smile, and the affection he shared quietly shaped the essence of who I am, even as the waters flowed gently around me. I began to lose touch with the warmth that this achievement once brought me. Though he remained nearby, his smile conveyed a subtle sense of regret for posing a question during such an intimate moment, his gaze unwavering throughout. I encountered a fleeting sense of unease, yet, with an unexpectedly calm demeanor, he assured me that it would eventually fade away. Before stepping into the bathroom, he paused for a moment, blinking as he glanced in my direction. His gaze shifted away almost immediately, and he reached for a nearby seat, a subtle gesture that spoke volumes. He took a towel and noticed that you were entirely soaked. I would like to offer my support. His tone remained steady and familiar, yet I sensed a subtle hint of uncertainty. He approached with care, as though he wished to avoid startling me, and then I quietly dried myself as he offered a towel with quiet care. It was a sensation that felt both familiar and new, a feeling that is hard to articulate completely. I took a moment to observe his face, noticing the distinct contours of his bones and the firmness of his jaw, which stirred a unique emotion within me. Each step he took was deliberate and measured as he approached the wound. The sensation of water gliding over my skin brought a sense of calm, allowing my mind to unwind after a long day. I felt as though we had stepped into a realm where the familiar boundaries no longer held sway over us. I came to understand that this situation was not suitable. I found myself reflecting on it. Even though it felt wrong, he found it difficult to look away from that individual. The figure he had observed on multiple occasions now appeared to have changed in a significant way. He appeared composed, yet the effort he carried was visible, revealed a surprising strength that contrasted with his otherwise delicate appearance. I noticed familiar markings on his arms, each carrying its own story, caught my attention in a profound way. He consistently upheld a remarkable level of physical fitness, whereas I found myself not quite in the same place. I had always kept that part of myself hidden from him until the moment my heart ceased its rhythm, and I felt a fleeting sense that he might have sensed it too. I remained still as I reached for the towel. Our eyes met for a moment. In that moment, it seemed as though the world had momentarily set aside its usual norms. His presence brought me a sense of comfort reminiscent of the times when I looked after myself as a child. He started to gently use the dryer on my hair. I started to notice the gradual release of tension within my body. The fingers glided softly over my head, brushing my hair with a tenderness that invited me to close my eyes and embrace the soothing feeling. The water dripped softly from my hair, and each movement of his hands felt intentional. In that moment, as I felt the presence of his support as I calmed myself, I felt a warmth enveloping me, bringing a sense of total relaxation that flowed through my entire being. The weight I carried began to lift as I released the soothing feeling of his touch. The soft glow in the bathroom gave me a sense of becoming a distinct space, small, secluded, and somewhat disconnected from the surrounding world. "How are you feeling at this moment?" He softly posed the question, his voice barely above a whisper. Still yet near, I sensed with my eyes shut. Even though my breathing had settled into a calm rhythm, I could still feel my heart softly pulsing, reminiscent of the gentle hum of a small insect. Every movement of his hands conveyed a depth that went beyond mere attention. I noticed it as he gently brushed against it before continuing on. After a short pause, he gently suggested that I take a moment to rest and enveloped me in the warmth of the towel. As I slowly opened my eyes, I took a moment to observe him with care. His gaze conveyed a sense of affection and understanding, bringing a sense of calm within me. "I truly appreciate your kindness," I softly spoke as I acknowledged the comforting resonance of my own voice. A gentle crease appeared on his lips, a familiar expression that has consistently brought me a sense of comfort. Yet, I have let go of something profound, something that becomes apparent during times of vulnerability, much like a dream that continues to echo in the mind. We stood close enough that I could sense his steady breaths, blending softly with the gentle sound of water dripping from my hair. My thoughts drifted, moving with a sense of ease, much like the liquid that gathered around us appeared to have taken on a more tangible form, fostering a sense of closeness and uniqueness in the environment. With my eyes closed, I sensed a shift in his expression. It was an experience unlike any I had encountered before, or maybe it was something I had been hesitant to acknowledge. It felt more layered than simple affection, something quietly meaningful. It was a moment that stirred something deeper within me that gently navigated the boundaries I had thoughtfully constructed within my mind. It felt challenging to discern whether it was my choice that crossed the threshold or if it was simply an inevitable occurrence. As I read, I felt a gentle flutter in my chest, my heart beating steadily, while my breath paused softly as my lips began to move. In a brief instant, I anticipated that Germite might pull away, yet she chose to softly rest her hands on my shoulders. In that moment, she gently pulled me closer to him, and we shared a moment of quiet closeness that needed no words. In the midst of everything, her demeanor was gentle, suggesting a desire to connect with my emotions. Every sign of the physical surroundings appeared to gradually diminish in our presence. Limitless guideline. It was simply the profound sensation that surrounded us, as comforting and embracing as the steam surrounding me. A new and powerful sensation filled my chest, one that was unfamiliar to me. Profound, unmistakable, and all-encompassing, her contact and warmth became a part of me so naturally, much like the simple act of breathing. As we said our goodbyes, I observed her gaze deepen, revealing a hidden depth that had remained unspoken until that moment. Sarah spoke in a quiet tone, as if acknowledging a shift in the way we understood each other. Her gesture was comforting, a reminder of our quiet bond, bringing a comforting warmth that enveloped me completely. In reflecting on the significance of this moment, it feels distinctly different from the chaotic and reckless experiences of the past. Much like the dense fog that once surrounded me, this has revealed itself to be quite unlike what I initially expected. As our rhythms aligned, every quiet exchange seemed to strengthen the emotional connection between us, and I observed it all with a sense of awareness. All doubts gradually dissipated. All the emotions I had kept to myself, all the feelings I had held back, now emerged freely and without barriers. I sensed that he was going through similar emotions. His gaze revealed much, and one could sense the subtle tremor in his chest. There was a quiet reluctance in our parting gestures. My thoughts felt organized and focused. Some time had passed since the lingering effects of alcohol had faded away. Yet an unfamiliar feeling began to take shape, quiet but consuming. A deep emotional intensity seemed to settle between us. As I drew closer, I became aware that my breathing was becoming more irregular. I felt confident that I had inquired gently, his voice barely rising above a whisper, as though he was apprehensive about disrupting that delicate moment. I nodded in agreement, even though it felt insufficient. I placed my hand gently on his chest, feeling the rhythm of his heartbeat, which mirrored my own in its quickened pace. Indeed, his movements were thoughtful, expressing a deep sense of concern with a tender touch, almost hesitant, as if they were aware that I might vanish like the morning mist. Yet I found myself deeply aware of every detail, filled with a sense of energy that felt unprecedented. As he guided me out of the bathroom, the water continued to cascade around us. The outside breeze felt brief against our warm skin, yet I observed how he, with careful and quiet steps, guided me to his room. As he guided me to sit, his gestures calm and considerate, his slow and deliberate movements evoked the sense of someone engaged in a sacred ritual. His hand softly brushed against my face, tenderly touching my chin as he leaned in to meet my gaze. In a reflective and heartfelt manner, Sarah whispered. I felt an emotional pull toward him, unsure of how to navigate the space between us. The distance that lay between us felt significant. There was no distance in that moment, only a quiet sense of understanding. In that moment, we shared a mutual understanding that ran deep, but in a shared comprehension of something deeper. I found myself in that place for an extended period, reflecting on the experience. In the stillness of the room, a gentle hush enveloped us, broken only by the soft rhythm of our breaths. Through the curtains, a gentle light was seeping in, evoking a sense of warmth that felt timeless and serene. The bed beneath us felt like a secluded island, distanced from the world around us. As he breathed deeply, his steady breathing reminded me I wasn't alone. His gesture, filled with safety and kindness, appeared to resonate deeply within me, touching every facet of my being. Each of them sent gentle signals through my body, awakening each nerve with a comforting warmth. I sensed the rhythm of my heart echoing within me, a sound that seemed to fill my ears, while his expression conveyed not a sense of reward, but rather an endless depth of affection. Her gaze held a profound intensity. In moments of profound vulnerability that transcended the physical realm, her fingers gently traced the contours of my face. As she gently crossed my cheeks and rested her hands on my chin, she lifted my face to meet her gaze. In that moment, an unspoken understanding blossomed between us, enveloping us in a shared sense of connection. We found ourselves in a space where nothing held us back from progressing. She leaned in again, and this time our kiss felt deeper and more profound, filled with a warmth that stirred something within me, so strong that it brought a subtle ache to my heart. Her hands gently rested on my shoulders, as if she was taking a moment to connect with me. Each gentle touch resonated within me, as if it understood my feelings completely, responding with a tenderness that deeply affected me. The atmosphere enveloped us in warmth, infused with a sense of something almost mystical. Each action was taken with careful consideration. As we endeavored to hold on to each moment in our minds, we found that our synchronicity and connection were truly remarkable in that instant. A sense of naturalness enveloped us as we finally settled down together. The silence we shared felt full, devoid of emptiness. Her voice lingered, carrying a weight that transcended mere words. As her hand rested softly on my waist, I found myself gazing at the ceiling, moving through thoughts in a slow, reflective manner, trying to make sense of the recent events. My thoughts became intertwined, caught between the surface of reality and the profound layers that lie beneath everything. Yet, I found myself devoid of any emotion. As I reflected on the fading peace and warmth that once enveloped me, a sense of remorse and shame quietly settled within me. Her face reflected a serene composure. Yet, when our gazes connected, her eyes conveyed a depth of emotion that went beyond words. I came to the understanding that there are feelings and thoughts within me that I find difficult to articulate. I found myself in a similar situation. She whispered as though she could grasp the thoughts I had not yet voiced. She suggested that I might not be in the right place, yet she chose to let go of the phrase. It felt important to embrace the use of incomplete words. Our interactions unfolded through subtle gestures, the warmth of physical contact, and the depth of our shared glances. What unfolded after that, I engaged in conversation gently, taking note of her intense gaze. A gentle warmth filled her gaze, and a subtle smile graced her lips as she softly ran her fingers through my hair. There's no rush. She shared that we will maintain our usual dynamic, yet it became a moment we both would quietly carry with us. The words she shared with me reassured me that what we had built together would stay as a cherished secret between us. A hidden truth, a precious gem held quietly within. As she came closer, I found comfort in resting my head on her shoulder. The steady rhythm of her heartbeat provided a sense of solace. Amidst the unanswered questions, there was an undeniable truth. In this moment, we shared a quiet emotional closeness that felt deeper than usual. The silence that enveloped us felt more like a gentle embrace than a weight to bear. It transformed into a steady reminder of something that remains elusive to those around me. She placed her hand gently at my side, offering reassurance, affirming that this was not merely a dream fulfilled, but a reality we had chosen to embrace with love. I observed her face with care, looking for indications of her feelings, which I found in the gentle creases around her eyes and the faint smile that appeared on her lips. Do you reflect on your actions with a sense of regret? I spoke softly, attempting to find the right words, while acknowledging my reflection with a deep sense of assurance. In my earlier comment, I expressed that Lily was not connected to any particular matter. Her statement brought clarity to any lingering uncertainty. We let the silence speak for us, uncertain of what the future held in our plans, yet I felt that this moment would be forever imprinted in our minds. As I closed my eyes, I felt her breath mingling with my own, while the world around us gently faded away. It held a quiet stillness, even in the face of the unknown journey ahead. In this moment, a truth endures. It felt entirely like it belonged to us. The gentle touch along my waist created a warm sensation that gradually enveloped my entire being. I felt her steady presence, grounding me in the moment, anchoring me in the present moment, and creating an unspoken bond that felt timeless.